After a grueling yet epic encounter versus Bournemouth and an incredible victory for Newcastle United, the Toon Army welcome Man City tomorrow at St James's Park for the first leg of the League Cup. Who will draw first blood? Find out right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Cher. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Cher
All right, folks. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. I hope you're blessed. Wednesday, Monday, first day of the week. I hope you've grabbed the day with both hands and haven't let it go since. Until now, you're on Toon Tactics TV. And as I always say, you could have been anywhere in the world, could have been doing anything, but you're right here with me. And guys, God bless you for being here today. And I'm blessed to have you. And guys, on today's show, we are going to be doing a match reaction to the epic win versus Bournemouth. And yeah, that's going to be we just got there in the end, but we're going to be talking about it as always. We're also going to be doing our match preview for the City game, which no doubt is going to be another epic encounter at St James's Park. So that's going to be later on in the show. But before we get into the preview for the City game, the match reaction, there's a couple of things to tidy up as well. A couple of news that have hit Newcastle this today as well, and I got it bookmarked over here that I wanted to talk to you folks about. So all to do with Newcastle as always. First of all, make sure you guys can see that Newcastle United have been drawn away. This is for the fourth round of the FA Cup. Newcastle have been drawn away to Aston Villa. And out of the frying pan and into the fire. I embrace it. I hope we're all embracing this. By the grace of God, should we win the FA Cup, I don't want you're going to have opposition fans forgetting that we've had such a tough run, and we welcome it. We welcome it. Let me know what you guys think about that. What are you guys' thoughts on Newcastle playing Villa away for the FA Cup, especially after such a huge, epic and grueling encounter against Bournemouth? I don't know what the dates are or where they're at. And somebody says in the comment here, that means we play PSG, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Villa, City, Chelsea, Palace, and Arsenal all consecutively away from the 28th of January to the 25th of February. They said it was an absolute joke. I'm saying we've got to embrace it. I think the attitude has got to be that we embrace it. You want to play with the big boys, you get the big challenges. And so that's what happens. So personally, I'm looking forward to it. If, by the grace of God, we're able to get it over the line, again, another epic victory, another epic step forward for Newcastle. So let's go. Let's do it, is what I say, honestly. I'm all for it in my own opinion. So, but let me know what you guys think. The other news, though, which is also positive, let me back up a little bit. Sven Botman, new contract. I can't remember what the length of the contract was, but I remember he had like a little 30-second video where he said he's going to be here for another 3.5 years. Oh yeah, so till 2030. Excuse me. Sorry, it's going to be till 2030, which is super, super, super positive to have. I think that I remember listening to an opposition fan channel literally the other day saying this is Newcastle's last hurrah. All the players are going to be leaving, as is what we're accused of every year. And so it's really positive to see that our first choice left centre back, despite the injuries, obviously, hopefully continues to stay fit, has signed an extension to his contract. And I think that's super, super positive. That's on top of the Tonali signed contract as well. Now I know none of this means in brackets that that they're necessarily going to stay here for the duration of the contract and everything else like that. If Real Madrid come along and things like that, I get it. But the intention is there. The intention is clear. That is, they're happy here. He said it. He's happy here. He sees the progress. He sees the potential. He sees the growth. And so he's here. He's here. He wants to play for Newcastle United. I think that's super, super important. I think it's brilliant to see. And I'm excited for it, honestly. I'm quite excited for it to have that. And hopefully that means we've got others in the way. We know that Ross Wilson was also in negotiations with Livramento. Now, Livramento does have City on his tail and now Arsenal as well. So if Mr. Wilson is able to get that over the line, that'd be phenomenal. But it's good to have Botman's contract sorted at least until 2030. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think of that. I think it's important. I think it's really good news to hear, and it's really, really important for us to secure our first choice centre back. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Now, let's talk about Bournemouth. Let's talk about Bournemouth because that was, if ever there was uh, when they say, yeah, that if there ever was an epic FA Cup encounter, that probably was it. Now, there's a lot here to show, really. I'm not gonna, 120 minutes of football. I'm gonna blend a lot of it into our City preview because um, I'm gonna use obviously apart from kind of the metrics and everything else about the performance, we are going to be discussing um, how the 120 minutes played, what sort of an impact is that going to have on a Newcastle's team? What is the team that's likely to play? We're going to talk about that. What sort of strategy would Eddie Howe have? What sort of strategy would not Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola have? How would it impact what he's done? That's on the back of as well the Leeds game, which was 4-3, obviously, but lasted 110 minutes, 112 minutes. Then to then play 3-4 days later again and play 120 minutes is incredible. It's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of time. And I don't know what you guys think, but Eddie Howe said this, and I agree. And that is that we finished I feel like we finished the stronger in both those games, but focusing in on the Bournemouth game, we should have wrapped up in the first 90 minutes for sure when we were 3-2 up, and then inexplicably we allowed Marcus Tavernier to run in from behind Botman first, and then in front of him to get on the end of a pass from, I forgot who it was, and to stick it in the net and make it 3-3. And then we had a whole extra time with it when obviously I think even just before the extra time, um, Gordon was it? He sliced the kick hit the air when the ball was right in front of the net. So we had so many opportunities to finish this game early, but we didn't. We didn't finish it early. And although I'm sure we're all kind of happy that we got through to the fourth round, but not getting, but we could have done without the extra 30 minutes plus the penalty kicks and everything else. Obviously, Ramsdale was absolutely phenomenal in that game as well. in terms of the penalties as well. But I feel like again ups and downs in terms of the actual game. You can see here this is the momentum bar, 120 minutes of football. Can you guys see that? You can. 120 minutes of football. First half was pretty much nil-nil, but we had the better momentum of it. Then into the second half, where I think in the first minutes we scored with through Voldemort, a great ball to Barnes. Then Bournemouth replied of 2 goals, going 2-1 up before we had a last ditch penalty, uh, which was awarded after the goalkeeper fouled Tonali, who was through on goal after a Gordon pass. Then both teams had a goal in extra time, which made it 3-3 before taking it to penalties, where we won 7-6. And we had 2 missed penalties in a row, by the way, in that game. And Ramsdale had to bail us out on 3 occasions. And so that was really, really important for us to get it over the line, quite honestly. If we look at the overall stats, which are going to be, you know, um, what's the word, exaggerated or emphasized because they played 120 minutes. Well, depends how you want to do it. If you're going to do it, if we do overall, should I do overall? Should I break it down? Let me do it overall because just for the sake of time. But for the whole game, we produced 2.89 expected goals to Bournemouth 2.99 expected goals. This is obviously according to SofaScore. It's the first time I've seen in a while that an opposition team has had a higher, maybe since Arsenal actually, that an opposition team has had a higher XG than us. But both teams deserved pretty much to score, definitely scored the 2 goals, and very, very much deserved to score the 3 goals as well from the chances of both teams had created. But I forgot to mention this as well. Actually, let me take a step back. We played 4-2-3-1 for this game. Let me know your thoughts on that. We played a 4-2-3-1. Everybody went to see Voldemort and Wissa, and we're here. God bless you, Kevin Hawthorne. Good to see you. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you all the way from Lakeland, Florida. Let me know what time it is up there. We played a 4-2-3-1 like everybody wanted. I was surprised, to be fair, that Eddie Howe played Voldemort and Wissa together because I thought he would have the City game in mind and that he would want to rotate between the both of them. And if you're playing your both your number nines, you kind of risking it a little bit in terms of injury and rotation. But fair play, he risked it. He said himself that this was the game that he had the opportunity to try the 4-2-3-1. There were some things he liked, there were some things he didn't like. Obviously, had the 2 in the pivot with Jacob Ramsey and Sandro Tonali, who I thought put in an epic performance as well. Voldemort got an assist, obviously that really good assist to Harvey Barnes, who got 2 goals for himself in this game. He was absolutely clutch in this game as well. Let me know what you guys' thoughts were on Voldemort in that number 10 role. I think there's some interesting stuff. He played 120 minutes as well, which again I think will have an impact on the City game. You see him on this heat map here. He's taken up positions mainly on the left half space as well, either in the center or in the left half space. Mainly, 120 minutes of football. He had 1 assist. Obviously, he created 3 big chances. That's interesting. So he created 3 big chances. He had 3 key passes. He had 83% accurate passes. Passes in opposition half, 87%, which is good, very good. For some reason, the passes in his own half, 73%. How are your passes in your own half lower than the passes in the opposition half? I don't know, but fine. He had 61 touches of the ball. Now, that's partly due to the fact that he played 120 minutes of football, but he's had a lot more touches of the ball than he usually have. His pass touches he usually have between 20 to 30 in games as well, 20 to 30, 35. So I'm sure he would appreciate that. He attempted two dribbles, got managed to get one over the line, four defensive contributions. He won 1 out of 1 tackles. I think it was more than that. Made 3 clearances, 5 recoveries, 2 out of 7 ground duels won. His aerial duels is 2 out of 6, and I believe that because I was watching closely whenever he was doing the aerial duels, and sometimes I can't understand. I know that he's not a target man. We're not using him as a target man, but sometimes I really can't understand how he jumps for the ball, Voltamada. Um, I do like sometimes it feels like he's either jumping and mistiming, either jumping and still ducking, which I don't know how, or he's getting out muscled. So I know again he's not a target man. Doesn't want to be a target man, but sometimes even this like not simple part aerial drills, but just not like usual typical aerial drills where he's not being used as a target man. The ball's in the air and he's not winning them. But otherwise, he had an assist, had created chances clearly, had some key passes. Let me know what you guys' thoughts were on the 4-2-3-1 for him as well. Um, Obviously, Barnes got another 2 goals. That's 4 goals in 2 games, which is really, really good for him. He's hitting really, really good form. He's obviously got 2 goals here. He's also created 2 big chances. He had 4 key passes. He made 8 crosses, 2 that were successful. Accurate passes 87%, 86% passes accuracy in opposition half, passes in his own half 89%. One out of 100% long ball pass, which is good. He had a total of 2 shots, 2 shots on target. He missed 1 big chance. One time where he was offside. He had 66 touches of the ball. He was fouled twice. He made 1 defensive contribution. I'm sure it was more than that. 4 recoveries, 4 out of 5 ground duels won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels won. And Sofa scores, giving him 10 out of 10 score, which is interesting. Oh, sorry, excuse me, guys. Got the hiccups. He got a 10 out of 10 score, which was really, really positive for him. The other, apart from that, though, it was interesting to see Botman, his first return, really, and 120 minutes in there. After all the worries we've had about him even playing 90 minutes, the man comes and plays 120 minutes against Bournemouth, which was insane. I thought he could have done better for the chart for the Bournemouth one when they made it 3-3. Could have done way more, but was he tired? What was it? It says 0 tackles won. That's got to be a nonsense. I think Sofa scores asleep there. In fact, let me look at FB Ref because Sofa scores giving me uh some. I'll look at the heat map. But Sofa scores giving me some funny scores here, some funny stats. Excuse me. Let me see if I can get. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Can I get League Cup? League Cup. Here we go. Let me share it with you guys. Where is it? It's giving me 23, 24. Where is the year? How can't I get the year that I want? I can't get the year that I want. That's annoying. Next season. Next season. Yeah, I don't know how they've given Botman 0 tackles. That is crazy. That definitely didn't happen. Oh no, that wasn't EFL Cup. It was FA Cup. I see a few folks in the chat. I'm going to read the chat in a moment as well. Come on, where are you? Here we go. All right, so. But the thing is, they don't like to do. They only do mainly games as well. FBref. Or do I have anything here? Is it going to give me individual stats for some of the players? But it's not going to give me. It's not going to give me what I want. Tackles what? Are you going to give me what I want? Where's Botman? Really? Tackles one. Botman zero. Even they've got zero. Wow. Maybe Sofa Score wasn't wrong. That's got to be a lie. I'm pretty sure I saw Botman getting some tackles in there. You guys let me know what you guys think of that. Both FB Ref and Sofa Score got Botman on zero tackles. That's got to be a lie. He did make two interceptions. He made 11 clearances. He blocked, share this tab instead. Blocked one shot, made three recoveries, 3 out of 6 ground duels won. That's better. And 6 out of 7 aerial duels won. So that's positive. And it was dribble pass twice. I think the second one, which is the one that was errors leading to goal, one. And that was the 3-2. That was the 3-2. So he had a tough time, Botman. He really did. The other person I wanted to look at who also played 120 minutes was Sandro Tonali. And you can see on this map, heat map, he was absolutely everywhere. I know for some reason he's getting he's getting a bit of he's not the same player from people. He's definitely been and some people saying he's been sloppy with passes sometimes, but I can see him trying to grind it out. So he's made four crosses, 2 of them successful, 91% accurate passes, which is good. 85% accurate passes in the opposition half, which is good again. 98% passes in his own half, which is good. Long balls 2 out of 5, 40% accuracy. He had 3 shots. He also had the penalty shootout touch. He had 125 touches in this game. So he really took responsibility in this game, to be fair to him. He was fouled 3 times. He won the penalty. He lost possession 15 times. Could be, 4 out of them. A lot of them times were crosses and long balls. He made 9 defensive contributions, 3 out of 3 tackles won, 1 interception, 4 clearances, 1 block shot, 8 recoveries, 7 out of 16 duels won. I think he had a really, 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 really good game. Not perfect, obviously, but he had a good game, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on that so far. We'll do the overall stats in the moment. Who was your man of the match, by the way? Aaron Cave, good to see you. God bless you. Good evening, Philip. I was so happy with the first half. Different formation, different patterns of play. Wilson and Voldemort playing together. I couldn't believe my eyes. I think Eddie Howe did it for you, Aaron. Aaron says Voldemort looked a lot more comfortable in the pockets. The disguise for that Barnes goal, yeah, that was really good. And the weight of pass was really, really good. And the pass outside of the foot, touch of class. There's something to work with here with the system. So happy with the news about Sven Botman. Yeah, I got that. I talked about that earlier as well. Getting a new deal. Very crucial. We've got this done. I absolutely agree with that. Now to tie down the fullbacks and get into the window, because we need signings and we need it now. What do you guys think? We're going to get any signings this window? Because I was before the window started, I wasn't I was cautious about it. Then the window started and I became a bit more hopeful. Now I'm back to being a bit more like, it's probably not happening. Honestly. Aaron says Barnes impressed me a lot. The thing that doesn't get noticed is how much he comes into the pitch and links with Voldemort and Whistle for the attacks. Yeah. Murphy or Elanga don't do this enough. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And good to see my man Register Kev. God bless you. I'm rooting for you, Philip, against City. Up the Toon Army. Of course you are. Obviously, Register. Great. Great. I don't know what you guys call it now. Is it the photo icon and whatnot? Really good. And obviously, you're a Man United fan, so obviously you want to see City knocked out. And considering that Man United aren't in any cup competitions anymore, I'm sure you want to put City you don't want to see City winning any trophies this season either. So, but big up to you, Register, as well. So, again, overall statistic for the game, I think I've mentioned it, but let me just, I don't think I have actually. Um, that was the individual stuff. We had the penalties as well. The Bruno missed the penalty. Voltemada missed the penalty. The two guys you don't expect. The guys with the really good penalties, Gordon, uh, Chow, Botman, really, really, really good penalties from them. um, oh, Lewis Hall didn't waste no time on the spot. Sometimes Lewis Hall shows, yeah, not sometimes, but like literally consistently. Sometimes, say sometimes again, but consistently, Lewis Hall. I guess that's what I'm trying to say is he shows such class sometimes. Lewis Hall, like he's. I'm sure you guys see it on the pitch sometimes. Sometimes the stuff he does with the ball, but even the penalty itself, when put the ball down, didn't even wait, shot, scored, went back about his own business. Like everybody else was doing the long run up. A lot of people were doing the walk up to the penalty spot like they're about to get. They were going to the firing squad, deep breaths and everything else. And I get that everyone's got their own different method, but he just got on with it. And I think that might be just the best approach. The boy is 18, 19, behaving like a veteran. But look, expected goals, like I said, 2.89 to Newcastle, 2.99 to Bournemouth. So both of them pretty much deserving to score 3 goals. We created 10 big chances. We missed some incredible chances. So did Bournemouth, 7 chances to them. Incredible. We had 23 shots, they had 22. Our goalkeeper had to make 10 saves. Their goalkeeper had to make 4, which is the concern. Like, how is they had one less shot than us? Our keeper has to make 10, whilst their goalkeeper has to make 4, which is insane to me. And you can see here the majority of our shots and goals, all of them were in the penalty box. Same for Bournemouth, they had a little bit more shots outside the goal as well. We had 7 corner kicks to their 5. I think they made 21,000. We made 7. I think that's how it goes. We had 688 passes, obviously 120 minutes to their 413. We made 20 tackles. They made 20 tackles. 20. We had 23 kicks. So yeah, we've got 20 times. Bournemouth, geez, Louise, you brought the dark arts to this game. They had 7 free kicks. Bournemouth had 5 yellow cards to our 1 yellow card. What do you guys make of that? Because we did talk about this before about dark arts and everything else, but it's interesting to see that Bournemouth were. It kind of makes it look like they're the more aggressive side with the 5 yellow cards and everything else, and we kind of made it neat and tight. Could we have been a bit more dirty? Could we have maybe that could have sort of stopped some of the goals at least? You guys let me know your thoughts on that. I haven't made up my mind on it. I wonder what's with that. I do wonder what's with that. So, like I said, 23 shots to us. We had 7 shots on target to their 13. That's why their goalkeeper had to make 4 saves, while our goalkeeper had to make 10. We hit the woodwork. We had 14 shots off target, 2 block shots. Shots inside the box, 17 shots inside the box. It kind of signals to me that, again, we're going a little bit backwards in terms of our shot quality. Big chances scored, 3. Big chances missed, 7 for us, right? We had 1 through ball to their 4. We had 68 touches in their box. And, they kept on hitting us on a counter, like with Brooks, for instance, is an example of that. We have to do better in those situations. But it was a grueling game, to be honest. We won 55% of the ground duels. We won 60% of the aerial duels. We had 55% of the dribbles. They had 59. So we did win the battle, and it probably might show why they had the yellow cards. I don't think they could handle our physicality. We that's what I'm saying. We showed our fitness, I think. But if you don't have physicality, then foul, and that's what they did, and it worked for them. We had 79 passes in their final third. They had 55. We had 50% long balls to their 30%. Obviously, we're always going to win the crosses battle of any team. We had 36 crosses to their 18. Our goalkeeper had to make 10 saves, to make 2 climbs, 1 punch. They had to make 2. We had 1 error that led to a goal. We had 5 errors leading to a shot. Did you guys see that? 5 errors. 5 errors that led to a shot. And if we're talking about why this game went into extra time, why this game went into um, when it didn't have to, I think there's the key right there. It's these errors. We were like 30 seconds away from just winning the game 3-2. And, we ended up letting them score. But we showed heart, we showed resilience. Ramsdale got us out the gutter. And I think Ramsdale actually had, even with the shots, penalties that he didn't save, most of them he went the right direction, I think. A lot of them he got his hand to the ball, was unlucky. But obviously the 3 of them he did save, which was phenomenal from him. So really good from him. Barnes, Tonali, and Ramsdale. I think Barnes ahead of them in terms of man of the match for me. But let me know what you guys think. I've got Barnes for sure. Had a really good game. 120 minutes again from him. Phenomenal. After 110 minutes against Leeds. Hats off to you, Barnes. Hats off to you. Aaron says, I think. Aaron says, I think it would be borderline negligent to not bring anyone in. Hall is our only left back. Shaw injured. Botman is prone to injuries. We need to sign players, especially with the fixture congestion. I wouldn't disagree with you. But what's your thoughts on what Howe is saying, which is when he's talking about PSR, he's not talking about that we haven't got PSR headroom, right? We do. We've talked about it lots of times in the show about how much headroom we have in terms of making a splash, really. I can't remember from the top of my head, but I think, for instance, I think we can spend between 150 to 200 million without even having to sell a player. But if we want to go higher, we can sell 20 to 30 million and spend between 2 to 50 and be fine, which is good. But what Howard is saying, remember, and we're talking about again on these shows where you don't want to buy a player because essentially what he said is, on a 4 or 5 year deal, and you're only buying him because, he's not a long-term target. You're buying him because you're in a tough spot, but then you're labeled with that player for the next 4 to 5 years. And and Newcastle can't afford to make those type of mistakes. I mean, what do you guys think of that? And essentially, I think he's saying is that they're going to have to look for internal solutions, really. Dan Burner's a few weeks away from coming back from injury. Shaw, we don't know, obviously. Livramento, we're going to find out what that duration is as well. Possibility of bringing back Target. What do you guys think of that? Eddie Howe also. I think the other thing also is to remember is that the phrase of never go to the shop hungry. When you are hungry, you end up going to the shop and buying anything and spending more money than you want. And I think part of it maybe is also possibly him being publicly saying, hey, we're not that desperate, essentially, or we don't want to come across desperate. We have long-term targets. If they're available, we'll go for them. If they're not, we're not going to go for them. And he's also not only talking to journalists, but he doesn't want to come across as desperate to potential agents and clubs and have them hiking up prices. Potential selling clubs will be aware that Newcastle have a centre-back issue at the moment and a full-back issue as well. And Newcastle will be on the phone to them about their players. And so the last thing Eddie Howe wants to do is go to a press conference and say, man, we really need a centre-back. Man, we really need a left-back. Because then that sounds desperate. So there could be one where he's just putting up a face, but really in the background, they are working really hard to get players over the line. I do think it's important not to make short-term decisions that harm long-term progress. And for instance, Villa did that last season. To be honest, they were very close to still getting into the Champions League. but they were labelled with a lot of players. And they were fortunate to be able to sell some of those players to the Saudi market. They still have issues with their wages as well at the moment, as well, to kind of bring it down. So it's kind of like living hand to foot. You don't want to, obviously, the fact that of not buying players to harm where you are currently. So it's a bit of a battle. There's a balancing act, really. And if people, what do you do? Do you sacrifice a long-term signing to buy a short-term one and be labeled with them? I know. I don't think we're in a position to do that just yet. And we're gonna have to ride this one out, I think. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think, Aaron and others. Whereas the Kev, absolutely, you win the League Cup for the nation. The world depends on you. Thanks, Kev. Yeah, Man City won 10-1. We're going to talk about them in a moment. They had a great time. They had a great time against Exeter. Meanwhile, we played 120 minutes and pens, and we are screwed. Aaron says Oscar Minguiza and Matali we can buy for 20 million, which solves some issues. I can't work out with Matali. Let me know, Aaron, because I'm searching the web everywhere. There's some sources that are saying that Matali is out for the season for his injury. There's others that are saying he's going to be back in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Can Aaron or anybody in the chat, can anyone confirm to me when Dayan is back? Because I simply can't get a concrete answer to this question. So if anybody knows, that would be really good. Aaron continues to say, I don't want us to spend crazy money on players. I want us to be smart. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. God bless you, Adrian. Good to see you. Evening to you. Absolutely evening to you. There's a chance that that target could return, to be honest. All right. So we showed heart, we showed resilience against Bournemouth. We're through to the forefront of the FA Cup. We're still in all 4 competitions. And it was a grueling game, full of errors, as you can see. 5 errors, 0 errors from Bournemouth, annoyingly. One that led to a goal for us as well. That took us over time, but we got it over the line, which is the main thing. But there's a lot for us to work on as well. Did the 4-2-3-1 work? In parts, yes, in parts, no. Again, I was surprised to see Wissa and Voldemar playing together on the pitch at this particular time. I thought he'd want to rotate and be a bit more conservative, should I say, especially with the City game looming. But fair enough. At least he got to see what the team can do. Still a lot to work on, but I'm proud of the boys, especially on the back of the 4-3 win against Leeds, where we played 112 minutes. I'm proud of the boys for getting it over the line again. And we continue. All right, so let me see what you guys said in the chat before we move on to the preview, to the Leeds preview. Not Leeds, City, excuse me, to the match preview for Leeds. Aaron says Matali is back end of January, and it's already been confirmed, I'm pretty sure. I read somewhere he's back on the grass. Okay, so if you guys can confirm that, because I saw 2-3 different sources, some saying he's out until the end of for the season after surgery. Others are saying what you're saying, Aaron, until the end of January. I'll be really curious to see, and I wonder if how when he says we're going to see it at the end of the window, if he's got the likes of Dayan in mind and where he's going to head to with that as well. So that would be a curious thing to look at as well. So, but for sure, out of everything, for me personally, left back or left centre back, Scalvini, you would have seen me on X talk about Scalvini. And I will talk about Scalvini if I get the chance today. But Scalvini did change his agent, and he's got the same agent as Haaland has got. And when you get an agent like that, who's powerful, she took over from Riola Motta, who passed away, but who's a very powerful agent, the same agent for Pogba, and she took over his business. So when you get a big, powerful agent like that, in January, that signals an intent to move. So watch this space. And Newcastle are often one of the big teams, stronger links that have been linked to him. So let's look out for that. So hopefully, if I get a little bit of time towards the end, I'll look a little bit towards the news and see where we're at. But I want to look at. I want to look at the match preview for City. Aaron says if we can't get Matali, Joaquin says is a player that I like. Plenty of LBs we can develop behind Lewis Hall. Just don't want to see Dan Burn as LB. I don't think Dan Burn wants to be seen as an LB anymore. I think even Dan Burn agrees with you there, Aaron. Okay, so let me see what I need to do here. Do I need to fix anything? No. All right. So City, City, City. Let's talk about City. Right. So who draws first blood? Let's talk about it. So quick summary in terms of some of what City like to do. Attack central overloads 4-3-2-1, creating chaos and tight spaces for Haaland. Build-ups verticality and directness, exposing gaps before the opponent resets, and with the pace and power of Haaland, you can get that a lot. Width with the fullback underlaps, providing late width while wingers occupy the centre, and with the likes of Semenyo and Doku, is absolutely frightening. Semenyo is fit to play for this game, is eligible to play for this game, so there's something to look forward to there. Defense 4-4-2 diamond press, as well as, and their primary goals forcing turnovers in the opposition's final third. So keep that in mind as we kind of progress through how about City, and we'll talk about what their style of playing, what they like to do. A Christmas tree 4-3-2-1 formation. They've moved away from the 4-3-3 to a more 4-3-2-1 formation. They want to use the likes of Phil Foden, Cherki, and Doku in overloads, central overloads. Obviously, they want to be as close and directly to as close to the goal as possible. Their build-ups, again, either really direct or methodical play through the middle, using their fullback. So instead of circulating the ball slowly to reset as they used to do, they attack immediately upon winning possession. They use the 3+1 or the 4-2 build-up. We like the 2-3 or 3-2 build-up, for instance, with Nico Gonzalez or Rodri. It'll be Rodri as Nico is injured. And City have got their own situations as well. So we're going to look at their team as well, with Nico Gonzalez or Rodri as the pivot to bait the press and fire direct passes into the central interior. So Botman and Chow are going to be very, very busy. Visual recommendations. So low the build-up showing their centre-backs, Diaz or Guardiola, both of them are injured actually, with a pivot of Gonzalez, drawing pressure to create space for the opposition behind the opposition midfield. So it's going to be interesting how, if any, their build-up is affected with Guardiola and Diaz out. That's going to be super interesting to see. On the lap, so you're going to see the wingers, Doku, Cherki can play almost like central midfielders. They get really, really close to Haaland because their fullbacks push up. Nico O'Reilly and Mateus Nunes or Rico provide the width. They don't just stay wide, they use underlapping runs as well, both the fullbacks as well. So that's what, again, our midfield is going to be doing a lot of running in this game as well. We're going to show that on a tactical breakdown how it's going to look. Out of possession, diamond press. City has intensified the counter press to address the last season's vulnerability. They're getting caught in the middle like nobody's business. They use the 4-4-2 as a higher block with a diamond-like midfield. Haaland initiates the press with a curve run to force the play to one side and to actually trap the ball carrier. So it's going to be really important how we play out of that press. It's going to be really, really important to see. Vulnerabilities, despite the new control, they still struggle with the rest defense. So the rest defense being when they're attacking, where are the position of the players when they don't have the ball? Are they ready if the ball should break, if the opposition gets the ball suddenly and they have to break on them? What's the position of their players when the position breaks? So opponents like Brighton and Chelsea, they pin the City's fullbacks and use long diagonal balls to exploit the spaces in behind the line. And you'll see that. And can that be something that Newcastle exploit? Can Gordon or Barnes, or if Murphy plays or Elanga plays, can they exploit that City backline? That is what's going to be curious to see for Newcastle for Newcastle United. Now, we spoke a little bit about I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna go in a minute and compare their stats in a moment. I'm gonna read the chat, but I wanted to briefly talk about their current form as well. City's current form and what we mean by um, what we mean by their vulnerabilities at the moment, because they're not they're not invulnerable. They certainly are vulnerable. They create a lot of chances, City, but they do concede chances as well. And um, uh, not but at the same time, though. Let's look at this. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. You can see City here. At least in the last 10 games, they've won. They've won about seven. They drew three just before they beat Exeter 10-1. They drew against Sunderland in a 0-0 draw. Sunderland played their hearts out in that game. They drew against 1-1 against Chelsea. Chelsea put it all on the line in that game. And they drew 1-1 against Brighton as well. So they kind of got unstuck there quite a bit, and Exeter have given them some light relief, to be honest. Um, you can see City's form here at the moment. In fact, let me see. Let me put it on FOTMob instead, because I want to see their XG. I want to see City's XG. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Let's see City's XG. Table. So 21 games played. You guys can see that. Yeah. So City have got 21 games played, 15 wins. 13 wins. 13 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. Excuse me. They scored 45 goals this season, the most in the league, with 19 goals conceded. Second in the league for that is behind Arsenal, plus 26 goal difference, with 43 points as well. So if we look at that table like XG, they pretty much deserve to be where they're at. They are overperforming on the goals they've scored. They've got it as plus 4.8. Excuse me, let me just double check myself before I say to how many goals have they scored? 45. Yes, they're overperforming for the chances they created. They should have scored 40, but they scored 45, so 4.8 or so. So, which is what you get when you got Haaland, for instance. However, they've also got an XG of -4 of 23.1, and that's a -4.1. So they've conceded 19 goals. See, I've conceded 19 goals, and what it's saying is that they should have conceded 23 goals. So teams are underperforming against City when it comes to scoring as well. So there's something to be said there, and it's not too dissimilar to Newcastle's actually. Newcastle on 23.7, and if anything, City and Newcastle's defenses aren't too dissimilar. We're going to talk about City's defense a little bit further on, because they are missing their centre backs in Diaz, their main centre backs in Diaz and in Gvardiol. So that's going to have some sort of impact in terms of how they play this season. But before we go and talk about how their metrics compared to us, let me see. Let me see what the chat are saying. How are you guys feeling about this game? Are you confident? Let me know. Adrian says, I'm not impressed with City. Let me know why, Adrian. Aaron says, to lose head coach said about Matada's injury ahead of 3 games against Lens. It's not serious, but we don't know exactly when he will be back. He'll be out for several weeks. So is that a time? Is that the timeline? Does that fit in with the end of January timeline? That'd be interesting to know. And I'm sure if Newcastle are as serious about it as Craig Hope and other journalists have us lead us to believe, then I think Newcastle will be really watching that. Aaron says City are depleted defensively, but offensively they are absolutely stacked. Exactly. Aaron says, can we have a prayer circle for Botman and Lewis Hall's hamstrings? 2 games in 3 days. It's going to be epic. I'm going to be talking about. I've created a red, amber, and green. I don't know what you call it. Recovery fatigue using a bit of AI, minutes played, and everything else. So, want to get you guys' take on that. How did it all go at it to get you guys' thoughts? Okay, so Matata should be back in January. All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Aaron. All right, so let's compare these guys' metrics and see what's going on. City remain more clinical when it comes to goals, and so looking at the attack, look, Newcastle, excuse me, City are more clinical with 2.4 goals per game, which is insane. While they are taking fewer shots than in previous years, the big chance creation is an all-time high, ranking them in the 100th percentile. And they created a lot of chances against us in the previous game as well. So we've got that to look forward to. Either Pope or Ramsdale are going to be busy. Newcastle United, our attack is more specialized around crosses and wing play. We rank third. We rank third in the league for total crosses, but struggle with goal distribution. We currently have the fewest unique scorers in the league, with only five players that have netted. So that's in the Premier League, obviously, mainly. Our key stat is City. Key stat: City leads the league in goals, but Newcastle is much more dangerous in the final 15 minutes, especially recently, where they have scored nearly 30% of their goals, of their total goals. So 30% of our total goals have been scored in the last 15 minutes. So this this is going to be we've got a lot to look forward to here. Defensive performance: City focus more on prevention through possession. Their XG expected goals against is at 1.09, which is elite, but they have shown vulnerability to late equalizers, notably against Chelsea and Newcastle, actually, when they played us last time as well. Eddie Newcastle, though, Eddie has built a low to mid block. We are third in the league for XG conceded, so behind City and Arsenal, 11.4. So trailing only, it's not 11.4, it's a bit higher than that. Trailing only Arsenal and City. They rely on Pope's high volume of saves and discipline back four that excels at preventing shots, ranking fifth best for fewest shots faced. Now that record's becoming under threat recently. we conceded like, I don't know how many goals now, 7 in 2 games, which is crazy. We did score though 8 in those in 2 games as well, which is crazy. Technical control. So City passing kings, they get on average 568 passes per match with 91% accuracy. That gives you a reference point if you want to be an elite team. 568 passes, 91% accuracy. They become more vertical, so they're being more direct with this direct speed. So upfield increasing from 1.3 to 1.61. Newcastle sits slap bang in the middle of the league for passing volume, so averaging 432 passes per match. That must be. Last time I read, we were like 500. I need to go back to that. Their passing is less about rhythm and more about finding the wide overloads for players like Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon. Absolutely. Pressing and high turnovers. City, significant shift occurred here. City have made the most high turnovers. Last season at 9.4 games, so they were pressing really, really high. But they have dropped off to the 7th in the league to 6.4. They are pressing less wildly and more structurally. So just like us, they've been more strategic in when and how they press. Newcastle, traditionally high pressing team under Howe, just like Guardiola was with City. They have recently transitioned to wide combinations to rattle opponents rather than pure central passes. We focus more on man-to-man marking in the middle to congest pockets where Foden and Doku operate. So it's going to be a really tight midfield battle for sure. All right, so City have the most interesting trend in their move towards, I don't know what that says behind it. I think it's either compactness. I can't remember. I think it's compactness. The most high trend in, so City, the most interesting trend is that their move towards shorter sequences. They've gone from 5.12 passes per sequence to 3.977 passes per sequence, meaning it means that they're less about possession and more about directly going for goal. They are trying to finish attacks faster than passing the opponent to death. Newcastle have their sequences are heavily directed towards their flanks, wide combination play. these underlapping runs, Hall and Livramento, to create numerical overloads, creating 3 versus 2 situations against the opposition fullback. So it's going to be City central overloads versus our wide overloads, essentially. And that's going to be something to look out for. So that's where we're at the moment in terms of that. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Just hearing those stats, hearing those metrics, hearing the styles of play. For me personally, and we're about to get onto it. I think it's going to be a game of attrition. Who's gonna who's got the stamina for this? If City are letting chances, conceding chances in the last 15 minutes, they lead that, and we're scoring in the last 30 in the last third. There's a big this is going to be a game of attrition. Who can outlast who? Substitutes are going to mean a lot in this game as well. It's going to be really interesting to see. Adrian says, in this iteration, City are a bodge. They rely on individual brilliance. Yeah, I think Haaland and now Semenyo, Doku, Foden, I think, are going to be very, that kind of individual brilliance is what I think they're going to be trying to unpick the lock in that way. For sure, I can see that, Adrian. Aaron says, Cherky is a player I wish we had. A Maverick has the ability to roam anywhere and make something happen out of nothing. Unsure if he starts though. Who would start? Who would start? Who would start? Excuse me, instead of Cherky. I forget because I thought it would be Cherky and Foden. Who's the other guy? Yes, Foden in the pockets absolutely is going to be a major problem. So I agree with you, Aaron, there. I talked about me thinking this is going to be a battle of attrition. So with the help of AI and the minutes played and both throughout the season, total minutes played. So I used total minutes played throughout the season as well as the minutes and kind of highlighted the minutes played in the last game where there's a number of players that played 120 minutes. I've asked AI to kind of use what they know about injury and using player age, especially as well, to say, hey, which players are in the green, which players are in the amber, which players are in the red when it comes to being fresh and ready to play for this game. And this is what we've come up with. Let me know if you agree or not. Some of it I'm like, yeah, probably. Others I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So we start off with the defense. Nick Pope's obviously in the green. He had a full rest. Lewis Hall, they've got him in the green. He played 61 minutes in this game. I can't remember how much he played in the previous game, but he's also been fairly well rotated generally throughout the season as well. Though obviously, I think he's probably going to be substituted also relatively early in the City game as well, probably around the 60-minute mark as well. Kieran Trippier is in the amber, and I know he's only played one game really. That was the what do you call it? The Bournemouth game, or was it the Bournemouth? Or was it the Leeds game? Maybe the Leeds game actually. He's 35 years old. And this is what the fourth game. This is the second game in about 3-4 days. So he's in the amber. Botman and Malik Chow are both in the red. Botman because he's just come back. That was his first game back. And Malik Chow because really he's only had 45-minute break. And that was from the previous game against Leeds. He started a lot of games. In this game, he played 120 minutes as well. So they're both in the red. Both our centre backs in the red. Now, City may not have any centre backs, so we're a bit better than them, but ours are in the red for sure. And obviously, Fabian, Dan Burn, and Livramento are all injured. So our back line is in a critical condition for sure. Now, the midfield is interesting. They've got Bruno, Miley, and Joe Willock all in the green. Obviously, Willock came off after the 49th minute. He's had a relatively low season load anyway. Not played too many minutes. Miley played 51 minutes. Obviously, came on in the second half. Um, he's played, I think, I can't remember what I said last time. I think he's played 1,000 minutes generally, maybe a little bit more this season. But he's played 49 minutes in this game. He's young as well, so he's pretty much in the green. Now, Bruno Gomes was meant to have a rest, wasn't he? He was meant to rest in this game until we decided not to defend. And instead of playing uh, 10 minutes, where he was meant to play, or 20 minutes, he's ended up playing 41 minutes. But they've got him in the green, probably because of age and because he's played 41 minutes in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the amber, considering how many games he started. Joe Linton's in the amber as well. He's played quite a bit this season. Obviously, Bruno's played more, but we know that Joe Linton's a little bit more injury prone. He's a little bit older than Bruno as well. He played 50 minutes, so he'll be in the amber. Ramsey's in the amber, surprisingly so to me. He played 62 minutes. I think Ramsey will be in the green. I don't His season load hasn't been that high, so I would put Ramsey in the green, to be honest. And Sandro Tonali is in the red. He's played 120 minutes. I think he played a lot of minutes against Leeds as well. So there's a consideration whether to rest Sandro as well. I'm sure Eddie Howe wouldn't want to do that, but I'm sure that's something to consider for this game. And in the forward line, again, very interesting. They've got in the greens Anthony Gordon and William Osolo. William Osolo has not been used at all. I don't believe he's injured. They keep on saying he's injured, but I don't believe that he is injured. Anthony Gordon came on as a sub, played 51 minutes. Um, he's been rotated. Him and Jacob Murphy, have been rotating really well. So his sort of workload has been manageable. So he's in the green. Young Whistler's in the amber. He played 62 minutes. How is he going to be 3-4 days late against what do you call it, against City, after previously playing against Leeds? But he was taken off relatively early there. They've got him in the amber, probably because of age as well. Now, Anthony Elanga and Jacob Murphy are both in the amber because they are potentially returning for this game. So, do you risk playing these guys when they're just returning? Do you start with Elanga and Murphy, for instance, or you don't really start with Elanga and Murphy? But would you start either one of them after they've just returned straight away? Possibly not ideal. Um, would be the concern. And obviously, Nick Voltemade and Barnes are both in the red as they've played both 180 minutes for Barnes. Barnes, did he get substituted? I can't remember. For both Nick and Barnes played pretty much 120 minutes. So they're in the red as well. Even though Voltemade is young, he was rotated in the Leeds game before playing 120 minutes. Now, I would put Voltemade in the amber, to be honest, because of his age. Barnes would be in the red. He played a lot of minutes against Leeds. I think he played full minutes against Leeds as well. 112 minutes there, 120 minutes here against what do you call it? Against Bournemouth. I wouldn't disagree. He's also a little bit older, 27, 28. So that's going to be there. So I wonder if he starts in the bench for this game. I would not be surprised. So let me know what you guys think. I think it's pretty interesting. There's a couple names and changes I'll make there. Certainly for sure. Certainly for sure, the defense is the most worried. Is the most is the most is the part of the pitch that we should obviously we're almost worried about. Um, the midfield and forward lines a little bit less so, plus because they got rotation there. So Let me know what you guys think. Would you still risk some of that reds? Do you think some shouldn't be red? Some should be more green? Let me know. And what is it like kind of seeing it like this visually? Because obviously we kind of know how when we're talking about it. I'm a visual person. So when I saw it visually like this, I'm like, okay, cool. That's where we possibly are at as well. That's interesting. So I asked AI then to say, okay, what would be the freshest team? The freshest team Newcastle can play. And even in the freshest team we had, we still had to play. This is it, by the way. We still had to play Botman and Chow, who are on red, because we have no centre backs. So this is what, hey, you're playing this is, you want to be elite, you gotta take on elite challenges. So apart from Botman and Chow, who are on red, the start of Kieran Trippier on the right, I think in the right back role, and Lewis Hall in the left back role. Obviously, Nick Pope as goalkeeper. I wouldn't be surprised if Ramsdale stays in goal because he's been playing in the cup competitions, but we'll see. Um, in the midfield, they've got Bruno, Lewis Miley, and Joe Willock. As again, it's the freshest squad they can play. I don't think Joe Willock will play. For instance, I don't think Joe Willock would play. I think Lewis Miley will probably play over Tonali because I think I might rest Tonali. And in the forward lines, they would risk Elanga and put on Euro and Wissa and Anthony Gordon. So that would be the freshest they can play because obviously Murphy is just coming back from injury. Barnes is in the red as well. So what do you guys think of this team? Would you play this team? Do you think this team could play? Excuse me, could play. Do you think this team could win? That would be the big thing. That would be the big thing. Do you think this team could win? Now, before we go to the tactics board, I've got and I kind of bring my ideas, and we're talking about our ideas about how to win this game. Let me know your thoughts. It's really interesting for me to see this visually, kind of see it like this, because it kind of brings it home as to where we're at. Aaron says Lewis Hall definitely isn't green. He's more amber. Yeah, if we take his prior injuries into consideration, especially around his hamstrings, probably so. I didn't include prior injuries to this, so I wouldn't. I don't disagree with you, Aaron. Aaron says the four players who will have to play, in my opinion, are Sandro, J7, Hall, and Barnes. So you think they have to play? I think two out of those are red as well. I think Joe Linton will play as well. I think Joe Linton was more of an amber, to be honest. Barnes, he's covered a lot of ground in minutes, man. I'll be surprised. I'll be a little bit surprised if he plays. Big up, Wobo. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. Hey, Phil, Adrian, and Aaron. How you doing, Wobo? Enjoying life, I'm sure, at the top of the table with Arsenal. Aaron says, this is why I said it would be borderline negligent to not go into the market. Our backline is so depleted. No, I don't disagree with you, Aaron. I think it's more about do you um, is about short-term gain for long-term pain, really. If I think it's how Eddie Howe's seeing it. He's saying that if all of our long-term targets are available in January at the price that is what they can afford to do, they'll buy all the targets, I think. But it's January and it's pretty much a seller's market. So it's a difficult one. But that's where we're at. I think I'm gonna show. Let me know. I'm gonna bring up the tactics board, and we'll go from there. Let's see who would you guys have in your first team. Let me know. Wobberjock says, I think like Lewis Miley. Kid is versatile. He's superb. I just saw an interview, or I saw quotes from his interview where he's saying that Fulham game was the first time he's ever played at right back. He hasn't even trained at right back. And look how phenomenal he's been. Didn't he play a lot minutes compared to last season? Yes, he's already. I think he's already over 1,000 minutes. I think he's getting to 1,500 minutes pretty soon. So yes, absolutely. I think even 1,400 minutes as well. So last season he played less than 500 minutes, I think. So already he's more than doubled that, maybe trebled that already. So he's on his way to possibly playing 2,000 minutes, maybe 2,500 minutes this season, which would be phenomenal for him. Aaron said that absolutely should not be the team for City. That team will get killed, will get killed to shreds by City. So Aaron's not confident with that team. That team AI's put up would get ripped to shreds. I read the same one, I think. There, yeah. Aaron just wants to emphasize it. All right, so guys, let me know who we play. Let me bring up the tactics board. Hopefully, it stayed on. Otherwise, I don't want to redo it all again. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Stop this screen and put on this screen. Share. Now, this is thanks to the folks at The Athletic. Want to big them up for their tactics breakdown as well. All right, so let me make sure you guys can see this. Can you see this? Yes, you can. Now, this isn't my first team just yet. Oh, by the way, um I was meant to show injuries for City, but I'll use the tactics board to be able to talk about it because let me know if I'm wrong on any of these for City guys. But I'm kind of using what SofaScore's starting lineup would be. But City will probably play Trafford, Kusanov and Ake. I've got Kusanov and Ake as right back and left centre back with Nico O'Reilly as is right. I forgot, is O'Reilly on the left or the right? I think it's on the right. Nunes is on the left. Is on the left. Riley is on the left. My friend Nunes is on the right. Rodri in the middle. He's obviously recently back as well. I got Foden and Cherky in the middle. With Silva on the right, where they like to play him. He comes inside a lot and adds a lot of. He adds the overloads here. When he gets inside here, Nunes goes up as well, so they don't lose the width. Obviously, Haaland up front with I've got Semenyo starting, but they're spoke for choice. They could have Semenyo, Doku, Oscar Bob, who's also up for sale, Savio, and others joining them as well. Now, I've got Pope starting, but I think I'm going to change that and I'm going to stick with Ramsdale. I think he's been playing in the cup competitions anyway, and maybe I think Eddie Howe likes to keep players as much as he can, those that are hitting momentum as much as possible. And I think that penalty shootout, those penalty saves would have done him the world of good. He can ignore some of the mistakes he made against Bournemouth. I do think he could have done a little bit better in that third goal, but even though I think Botman is the bigger is the person with a bit more blame for that one. But I do think he could have done better. Now, I've got Trippier at right back. I'm a bit scared because because it's either going to be Semenyo or Doku. Let me know what you guys think. If it's not Trippier at right back, it'll be Miley at right back, and we'll have to find another midfielder. I've got obviously Botman and Chow just by default. In centre back situations, I'm sure they're not going to be doing much running around during practice. I think Eddie Howe's going to put them in an isogenic chamber, really. My midfield's got Joe Linton, Bruno, and Miley. I've given Tonali a rest, but maybe some of you think that Tonali can still be risked for this game. Let me know. I'm happy if Tonali can be risked, then I'll probably put Tonali back in that midfield, take Trippier off, and have Miley at right back. So that'll be one thing. And I got the front line of Murphy. I've got Murphy, Gordon, and Wissa. But I am a bit nervous about starting Murphy, if I'm honest. And if Barnes can do 60 minutes, can Barnes do 60 minutes? Okay, let's say Barnes can do 60 minutes. So we'll go, at least we've got Murphy and Nilang on the bench. So we've got Barnes, Gordon, and Wissa at least. Maybe Tonali can do it as well. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm thinking maybe he can do 60 minutes. Maybe Tonali can do 60 minutes. And we'll put Miley at right back. All right, I've swapped it back. I've swapped it back. I've talking to you guys. I just talked myself out of it, to be honest. Um, Either way you look at it, I don't think that, I just don't know. No one can be. Aaron says my team for City is Pope, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Bruno, Sandro, J7, Gordon, Wissa, and Barnes. I think we've got the same team. This team gives us the best chance of getting a result. I absolutely agree. There's going to be some subs made for both teams, though. Aaron says Trippier would get ripped to shreds physically and athletically by Semenyo or Doku. He can't play. I agree. He's going to have to come on at some point, though. Wobberjock says Phil, is Trippier still alive? Yes, he played. We played against Bournemouth. Him and Semenyo is borderline elderly abuse. Yeah. I'm glad I changed him before I saw this. Uh, Aaron says, Murphy, I don't want to see in this team after watching Barnes play that position. I'm just worried. I'm just showing. I wouldn't want to either, but I'm just thinking about Barnes's uh, Barnes's condition really. All right, so because it's going to be a game of attrition, we're going to have to make substitutes at some point. Um, we spoke about how 30% of all of Newcastle's goals have been in the last 15 minutes, whereas City lead the league in conceding the most goals in the last 15 minutes. At the same time, though, City are vicious in the first 60 minutes. So the first 60 minutes, 60, 70 minutes are going to be absolutely crucial in this game. And I think if I was Pep Guardiola, I would absolutely put it on us in this game if I can. If I was Pep Guardiola, I would absolutely put it again on us to see, um just to see what we can do. So let's begin with City's build up. They keep on bringing back. This is the annoying thing about this thing. Ugh. They keep on bringing back the other players. Voltamada off. Um, why did they change this whole thing? That's so annoying. Sorry, guys. I've got to arrange this again. Wissa. Oh gosh, that is so annoying. Where's Wissa now? I can't even see him on here. Wissa. No, that's Man City's bench. And their bench is thin. Shaw, Solar, Max, Solar, Gillespie, Ashby. Guys, can you guys see Wissa? I can't see Wissa. I just pressed on him. Willock, Craft, Burn, Miley. Wissa, where are you? Goodness gracious. All right, let me start. It's so annoying. That is annoying. So I wanted to talk about the City build-up because that's going to be crucial. Where's Wissa? Where is Wissa? Where is Wissa? Where is Wissa? Here we go. Wissa here. All right. So Wissa, it keeps on disappearing. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, here we go. Because the spin behind Oscar Bob. All right. So Voltamada's back here. Elanga's not playing. It's going to be. It's going to be Barnes. So City are going from left to right. Joe Linton, Bruno Tonali, Joe Linton, Wissa, So let's say you're playing left to right. They've got Diaz and Guardiola on this. Goodness gracious, this is annoying. JLA. I had a support development guy contact me the other day saying that I should go on the web. But why you guys have got the app? Why don't you sort out the app? That'll be a lot more easier for me to deal with. So who did I have? I've got Ake and who in their back line? Ake and somebody else. Ake and Kusanov in the back here. Now, this is going to be interesting how good they are in their build-up play. I know Kushinov is good with his long balls. To be honest, you're going to have all the centre backs fairly comfortable. I'm not gonna over milk it to be with that. We're going to play Miley instead of Trippier. All right, so City's build-up, they are a lot more flexible nowadays to go direct, right? So whether it's Donnarumma straight to Haaland or Kusanov straight to Haaland or to Doku or to probably less to Cherky because he's not as good unless like it's kind of a really direct ball. They're not. They kind of totally avoid the press whatsoever. If it becomes problematic, for instance, if they think, oh, Tonali, Foden, Bruno, Nico, it won't be Nico. Who would be? It would be Rodri. Or they might fancy Rodri, to be honest. They can always play out the back of Rodri. So they got, like I said, they got the options to either go direct to your Haalands and to your and to maybe and to the wing on the side as well. They don't mind those type of situations and creating those situations, but they'll also try to do uh, to play it out. And their fullbacks are very, very key to this. They're going to try and create these overloads here in the middle. Let me hide this. Let me create this rectangle here to highlight the point. All right, so they want to be able to try and create these overloads here. So whether it's a 5 versus 4 or a 4 versus 3, what happens with the fullbacks? They go right up here, or they put, like we talked about before, they sometimes even get into these half space over half space situations where you got the fullback question. You'll have Hall on Nunes. You'll have Hall thinking, should I go? Is there a chance I should go press Nunes? Or if I stay where I am and the ball goes to Nunes, he gets the ball, he has a chance to run at me. So Nunes is going to stand here and O'Reilly on the other side and ask both Hall and Miley these questions. Should I step up or should I stay where I am? Because if I step up, I leave Doku or Cherky by themselves. So that will be crucial questions that they'll be asking as well in those type of areas. But what they really want to do is be able to create these overloads through the middle so they can play out from the back. So Wissa, for instance, comes into to try and press Kusanov, for instance, and what you have already plays it out to Rodri. What you have already here is either 2 versus 1 versus Bruno Gomes. Even if Barnes comes back here, you've got a 3 versus 2. So you've got this type of a situation here where they can play out the back that way. This is the aim that City will try to do. And then you'd have obviously the likes of Doku and Cherky then trying to press the back line here as well and create these overloads on 3 versus 2 as well. So that's going to be very crucial to how City want to play. The other scenario, and I'm already hesitant to even put this up because it's going to change all the names again. Playing out from the back, build up, done that one. There was another one I wanted to show with City. Where are you? City in possession. The other phase I'm worried about is with City in possession, where they could have us. All right, I'll confuse that a little bit because this time City are going from right to left. But let me know what you guys are saying. Let me go back to the chats first. This time City are going from right to left, just for you guys to know. And my apologies, folks, because it keeps on switching around like this. But let me know what you guys so far think so far. There's going to be a low block situation. We're going to have to play a low block as well. Aaron says it's a semi-final. We have to go for it 100%. 100%. you don't get these moments again because our away form, especially at the Etihad, is so bad. Yeah, don't disagree. What would you? Oh, it's not talking to me. Aaron says, I think City go Nunes, Kusanov, Alain. Oh, yeah, the young player there. Ake, Nico, Rodri, Doku, Foden, Semenyo, and Haaland. Yeah, it's a powerful attack. And Trafford in goal. I've got Donnarumma, don't I? That'll be interesting if he plays. Um, I think has he played? I think he's played all the League Cup games. Okay, so this time City are going from right to left, right? So what City really like to do, and I didn't show it earlier. Uh, let me see. They will also, even in these positions, they want to be able to play the ball from out the back. So you have, as I mentioned earlier, the fullbacks here. So it's two phases of play I want to show. One with where they like their midfielder, whether it's Rodri, but it used to be Nico Gonzalez, will be dropping in between the two centre backs here. The two fullbacks will provide the width with a situation either where you've got the two pivots in Cherky and Foden in this case. Um, uh, in the central midfield areas here, and Haaland either in these type of situations, and with the opportunity of either Semenyo and Silva either dropping in or staying out wide. It's going to be interesting to see from Newcastle's perspective how we handle this bit of the phase of play. Are we going to? I think we're going to probably take up a mid block at some points as well. It's going to be curious to see how quickly we do that. Do we straight away go into 5-3-2, which I think we might do, to be honest. Got Trippier here again. Trippier. What's Trippier doing here? Miley, Sandro Tonali. Here we go. Gets himself right here. And it becomes a 5-3-2. So it becomes a lot more difficult for City to break down. Where's my third? Where's Joe Linton? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's going on here? So Murphy. Am I missing a player? I must be missing a player. I didn't bring on Tonali. All right. So I think. Where is Tonali? Tonali. Hey, Tonali, where are you? Is he hiding behind a City player again? Willock, Livramento, Elanga, Trippier, Ramsdale, Barnes. Jeez Louise, mate. This is like, how hard does it have to be? Ashby, Gundo, Automata. Okay, let me just use Willock. It's not going to be Willock. I hate doing that, to be honest, though. I really don't like doing that. Let me try again. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, Tonali's back somehow. Didn't see him in the first place. All right, so I think we go back into a full. I think we're likely to go back into a 5-3-2 when City get into these type of positions. Joe Linton probably dropping back or Tonali. Depends how we want to do it. Where is it? So Tonali, Shaw's not playing. It's going to be Botman. Have to bring out the whole crew. Elanga, Murphy, Voldemort on the bench. Who would be surprised to see Voldemort start? I'll be surprised. Let me know if who would actually play Voldemort, because we're kind of taking it for granted that it's going to be Wissa. Because Voldemort did play when we won 2-1. So who's to say that Voldemort doesn't play as well? That's another thing to consider. I do see us go, though, as mentioned, into a 5-3-2. So Botman here, Botman and Chow, Joe Linton helping here with Hall and Silva, or O'Reilly, making sure that we don't get outrun, overloaded. It allows Miley to come out a little bit here as well, with Chow be able to support. in these type of situations. So City will try to obviously be building up from the back like this, with Cherky and Foden getting into these advanced areas with Haaland and Semenyo either free to underlap and allow Foden to go out into these areas or stay central, with Semenyo staying here. Silva doing the same thing, though Silva doesn't want it, he's not really going to take people on that much here, especially with Haaland, Joe Linton. With between him and Cherky, I think O'Reilly will though. So O'Reilly's going to make these runs here and allow Silva to get in between, and Cherky's going to support right here in the middle. And that's where Newcastle have to be really, really organized. O'Reilly's going to probably keep the width here more so. He can obviously do the overlapping runs as well, which allows Cherky. Cherky doesn't mind. He's got the trickery to get behind players as well. But I trust the likes of Joe Linton or Hall or to kind of in those type of situations. So I see more O'Reilly going on the outside of Cherky in the middle, where he can be deadly, where he can either shift the ball across and get shots off, or cutbacks into the likes of on running Haalands and Fodens. And that's where we have to be really, really good in terms of our defensive areas. Tonali would have to sort back in. Chow would have to get back in as well, with Miley and others here to make sure that they try to cover their bases. The other situation that and what I think was going to be very crucial for us is we don't want to stay in this position for too long. We don't want to be overly defensive to the point where we're not breaking out. So you're expecting the likes of you're going to see City trying to get into these type of positions and hold us here. Maybe even have O'Reilly stay in here and have Silva going out wide, and you might have Rodri in these positions here trying to dictate play. They've got the protection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I forgot about Nunes. Apologies, Nunes. You'll have four of them here with Rodri trying to dictate the play, and they're going to try and keep us in these type of positions. And they got the whole pit. They're just staying in our half essentially and try and camp out and keep the pressure on us here. And that's not where we want to be considerably, though City are a good team and they can do this to teams as well. Where they leave themselves open, those City, is that they leave a lot of space in the behind. And that's where you want the likes of Gordon, even where Kusano's got the pace, though, he'll be looking for him as well. Barnes, I fancy Barnes and Ake against Ake as well, even with Nunes' pace. So can we catch them on the break there as well? We're going to have to fight these overloads. Miley versus Semenyo, whether it's Miley or it's Trippier, even Livramento, if he was fit, has a hard time against Semenyo. So we have to be really, really defensively astute in these areas as well. Careful not to overload, but also be ready to be on the counter, ready for the counter as well. But City are going to be very, very keen to try and play through the middle because that's where Haaland is. And kind of get him in 1v1 situations against a tired Botman and Chow as well. So that first 60 minutes, 60, 70 minutes is going to be absolutely crucial in this game. For our part, though, before we talk about Newcastle, let me see if they've got anybody in the chat, what everybody's saying, how you guys feeling about it so far. Aaron says, no way Voldemort plays. He's going to be too tired. Maybe comes on with 20 minutes to go. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Adrian wants to go Voldemort and Whistle straight off the bat. I'll be shocked if that happens. I'll be absolutely shocked if that happens, to be honest. Yeah, it's going to be crucial for Newcastle to be able to get out in these situations. And even if the ball breaks somehow, we need the likes of Tonali and Bruno, not just to pass it straight away, but to be able to carry the ball out a little bit. So it gives us that space and the opportunity to advance a little bit further and get closer to the goal and put City under pressure first. So I think that's going to be really, really crucial. We don't want City to have too much control, so that at least when he does release the ball, we're a lot more closer to their goal than they are to ours. Again, for down City's on our left side, City's right side, Kusanov and O'Reilly have a lot of pace between them. Kusanov is very aggressive. So Gordon's going to have his work cut out for him. I think if we're breaking, our biggest joy, especially in that first 50, 60 minutes, is going to be Barnes on that side of Rodri and Nunes as well. And so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if Eddie Halby tends to swap Gordon and Barnes as well, and just pit Gordon against Nunes and Rodri as well. So that's going to be interesting to watch if that would be the case. But also for our part, City have not been great in terms of defending the last minutes of games. Set pieces are going to be very crucial for us as well. How we handle those. Can we put City under pressure? Cherky isn't. He's getting better, but he's not. He's not Mr. I want to do recovery tackles for sure. So, what can we handle, guys? Send in your predictions. I'm going to give our predictions in a moment. So, send in your predictions. Send in your predictions. Send in your predictions. I have to say, my recent predictions have been spot on against Leeds. I didn't say 4-3. I thought we'd win, but I didn't say 4-3. I think that's a 3-0, to be honest. What am I talking about? But I did say against Bournemouth would win on penalties as well. We already know about our wide overloads. They're going to be absolutely crucial to how we play. I don't think we're just going to be doing counter attacking and press. We love our wide overloads. If we focus in, for instance, on our left side, ability to get Gordon either on the inside here, Joe Linton and Hall would be absolutely crucial. Where's the ball? With the likes of Silva and O'Reilly, I think they look very different when we're attacking them. When Man City are on the offensive, they look a lot more scarier. When they're on the defensive, and we're kind of in these type of areas, I think we can be a lot more controlling. So even if Cherky has to defend here, I think it'd be Rodri. To be honest, I don't think Rodri wants to leave Cherky to it. Where's Rodri? I think Rodri is going to want to be here as much as possible with Joe Linton. So that's going to be key battles. I think Wissa is going to try and keep their backline in check as well. With Kusanov and Gord and Ake in the middle. So where is it? Here we go. So we've got them here in these type of areas. You know, Silva isn't going to like the pace of Gordon. O'Reilly's going to have to be really careful. Gordon's going to try and stay in these type of positions. I really like it when we're in these type of positions here. Can we get in behind them? Can we get Gordon in behind them? Get Kusanov. We can be a bit rash. Can we get the ball with Gordon on the ball in the penalty box? You know, Kusanov can be really aggressive and good when he's aggressive, but can Gordon, for instance, get in the penalty box, win a penalty? Because Kusanov can be over aggressive at times as well. That's going to be interesting to see. Bruno versus Foden in these situations. I fancy Bruno to be able to keep the ball off of Foden. But with tired legs, I think Foden had some rest against Exeter City. He did play, but he had some rest as well. It's important that we don't let Foden and the likes of Cherky to have too much time on the ball. Should the ball break to them and get Haaland on the way? So I think Tonali is going to have a key role in sticking in behind. I think it's safer for us to keep three in the back, especially with Haaland, and manage things that way. So I can kind of visualize Miley of Semenyo, Bruno Foden, Rodri of Joe Linton. Cherky's going to be free to have a help support against our fullback wing play here, where he's going to try and stay in and around, wait for the break. That's going to be interesting to see. But I think our wing backs can have a lot of can have some. Are going to be really, that left side is going to be very, very important. Miley, can he get in? Will be on the other side. Miley, again, creating that relationship with Chow. There's a lot of passing between Chow and Miley in these games. Barnes, can he connect as well with Miley and Wissa? Create these type of overloads on this side as well. Obviously, Bruno joining in. That's going to be really crucial on this right side. You know, those passes in from out the back. Once Bruno gets the ball in here with Barnes running in, Wissa running in on the inside against Ake's and old legs and Nunes, can we get on the other side as well? I think that's going to be interesting. That's going to be key as well. So I feel like City look a lot less scary when we're on the attack, to be honest, as well. So can we get into those positions and can we be clinical? That's going to be the key for us, I think, as well. And I think how we defend transitions is going to be super, super key. So if the ball breaks, if Trafford saves and he tries to clear it early, having either a Tonali or a Chow or a Botman in these situations looking after Haaland, you can have three players on Haaland and it can be dangerous. So if we can defend the transitions um, if we can defend the transitions as best as possible, it's going to be really, really, it's going to help us a lot in this game. So we don't want to give the, we're not going to be too, we can't be scared in attacking all the time, but we also have to be ready to defend these transitions, especially when City start rolling around like this, because these situations will happen. And we have to be ready for them. We have to be absolutely ready for them. Haaland will do his best, especially in these kind of breakaways, to drag the defenders away and kind of create these type of kind of create situations where defenders are isolated while he goes the other way, and the balls continue, and the players continue running with the ball to get shots off on target. So we have to be really, really key. We have to be really, really on point to prevent as many of these transitions as possible. And I think keeping Tonali or whoever in the middle, particularly Tonali, actually, if he plays in between the centre backs, is going to be absolutely crucial. So let's talk about predictions. Is we've talked about City in the build-up, City with the ball, ourselves in the wing-back areas, ourselves defending the transitions. Out of possession is going to be very, very very, very important. I think we'll do fall back in a 5-3-2 formation, 5-3-2 formation to stop the underlapping runs as much as possible. I think that's going to be key. Oh, and actually, I didn't mention it, but I think hopefully the game is tight by the time we reach 70, 80 minutes, because I think City's bench, especially defensively, isn't the greatest. The young man Alain there, but otherwise not great. And if we can bring on the likes of Elanga for Barnes, which we'll have to, and Murphy or Elanga, to be honest, or both, for the likes of Gordon, probably Murphy on the right, Elanga on the left. It's just having an extra pair of legs will be very, very important. Can Willock as eventually probably come on for the likes of Tonali uh, to provide that defensive cover? He'll be really, really key. Joe Linton, Gomez. I think how we manage, both teams manage. I mean, Man City still got Reinders and Doku and others. They're going to want to put the pressure on us as well. How we manage the latter stages, the first, it's like every part of this game, the first 60 minutes, the final 20, 30 minutes for both teams is going to be really important. And the bench and the substitutes are going to be really, really, really important. Managing those transitions is going to be really important, but it's going to be difficult, guys. But let me know what is your predictions. Is Elanga back? Says Adrian. So how so that both Elanga and Murphy are in contention to be in the team as well. So I'll take that there's a good likelihood. So I've kind of taken it for granted they are, but that I'm just there's a strong possibility they'll be on the bench. Let me get a drink of water. Um, Aaron says probably delusional considering we just played 120 minutes, but I believe in my captain to carry us 2-1 win. Barnes and Bruno winner. I love the optimism, Aaron. Proper. Uh, Adrian's gone for 4-2. Voltamada Braves, Wisser and Chow. I love you guys. I love it. Hopefully the crowd carries them over. The crowd carries them over. Um, my only concern, I wish we didn't play 120 minutes, guys. That's my that's my biggest, if any, that's my biggest worry and that's my biggest gripe of annoyance. But we've got the crowd, the players. It's first leg, it's semi-finals. We should be, we will be up for it for sure. No one's going to be complaining. Um, I'm gonna go for a 2-2. I'm gonna go for a 2-2. That's more my heart talking. Um, at the moment, but I'm gonna go for a 2-2. If Newcastle get the victory, it'd be insane. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 though, and we'll just have it out at the Etihad. We'll just have it out of City at the Etihad. So 2-2. Adrian's gone for a 4-2. Aaron's gone for a 2-1. So some really positive stuff here as well from you guys. But guys, as we conclude, we had a fantastic show, I think. Um, we did the match reaction to the Bournemouth game, 120 minutes of blood and guts, errors and resilience, but we made it over the line into the fourth round. But we also talked about how we've got Villa in that fourth round. We're playing away to Villa. There's also got that to look forward to. We also talked about how Botman signed a new contract with Newcastle that will last until 2030, which is good to have. On top of the match reaction that we had, I think I got Barnes as man of the match for that game as well. Then we did the match preview for the City game. We talked about the City's current form, the metrics they're producing, um, also how they compare to us, their style of play. We did a tactical breakdown for the game as well, and we've given our predictions for the game. It was good to see a lot of the chats being really positive. I've gone for a 2-2. So hopefully we get the win. We'll see how it goes. But really, really looking forward to it. This is what it's all about, guys. Playing with the for big stakes with big teams. This is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what it's about. So really looking forward to it. So guys, as always, make sure you look after each other and God bless you all, folks. Take care now.